And welcome back into the 18th annual Telethon for Hope here with the Housing Assistance Corporation as we come to you across Cape Cod and beyond as we raise awareness and, more importantly, money and funding for the mission of the Housing Assistance Corporation. I'm Matt Pitta with the Davenport Companies, and our co-host, of course, as always, is the CEO of the Housing Assistance Corporation, Elisa Magnotta. Elisa, we have a great show underway, a lot of information getting out there right now. Really critical that as people are listening to the messaging here, that they use the phone numbers they see on the screen and go online as well. They can donate online. Very important that we continue to push this mission here of the challenges that we're facing here across Cape Cod.
Yep.
Joining us on this segment today is Cassi Danzl, and Cassi is the Senior Vice President of Programs and Client Services of the Housing Assistance Corporation. Cassi, thanks for joining us here on the. Is this your first Telethon for Hope?
No, I want to say it's my third or fourth.
Is it your third?
Even.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right.
We started on the same day.
Did you? Oh, really?
Yeah,
Exact
pretty
same
much
day.
on the same day.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
and
great.
she is one of my favorite. Well, I love all my colleagues,
Right.
But I work very closely with Cassi, and her background as a mental health counselor and an administrator has really served us well at our agency.
Great. Cassi, tell me a little bit, just to set the stage for our viewers, in terms of what your role is, and then we'll go into the topics.
Sure. Housing Assistance is a really unique organization because we serve the full spectrum of housing needs, starting with housing development and building actual housing up through homeless outreach, working with our family shelters, providing housing counseling and education, homeless prevention services, case management. So everything that is client related besides the development of actual housing rolls up to me.
So give us a little overview of where you see we are in the last 12 months. We've been talking about that here on the program and the challenges we're facing.
Sure. We've seen a huge demand in service need. In a typical year, we serve about 5,000 households here on the Cape and Islands. We're over 6,000 for this year.
Wow, that's a huge increase.
We've also seen a huge increase in the need for financial assistance to help people pay their rent or their mortgage. In a typical year, we administer about $300,000 for the region. And since the start of the pandemic, we're now over $5.5 million.
Wow, that's a big demand, Elisa. Things are really,
And Cassi has done a great job of staffing up and getting the right people that have both the empathy and compassion to help people on the other end of the phone calling in for service, but also the administrative acumen to be able to get the money out the door. It's a very complicated process on the back end to approve people and get the money out the door.
as people are watching us here throughout the month of December, the weather's turning colder, and we know what's coming in terms of winter, and that's always a challenging time here on the Cape. So what additional challenges is that going to face? What are you seeing when it comes to that issue in terms of more demand now as we head into the winter?
And what we're seeing is the pandemic has lasted a lot longer than anyone anticipated. So we're seeing folks come in with very large balances if they're renters. We're seeing mortgage holders and homeowners come in and their forbearance options are expiring and they no longer have any savings or any kind of a safety net to be able to help them. So we're seeing a lot of folks that are coming in really concerned about what's going to happen next. We are also seeing a lot of tenants come in saying that
Their rental sold.
Yes, thank you. the homeowner for their rental has sold. We had over 100 people this summer come in knowing that they're not going to be able to find another place to live and really not sure what the next step is.
Yeah, we're hearing those stories everywhere, and those are really heartbreaking. People who have been in some tenancies for 10 plus years, I've heard stories of, where they're now literally on the street. So what is out there for those people? What do you have available? What are you doing in terms of that level of service right now?
So we have a homeless outreach team that services the entire Cape. They're working with folks that are living in encampments, unfortunately living in their cars. A lot of folks have really had to use their last resources. We've found an increase in elderly households, folks in their 60s, 70s, 80s, who have been really consistent renters in the same unit for 15, 20 years, the landlord selling, and at 80, 85 years old, they need to leave the home. They're unable to find another rental. And even if they can find one, usually they're on restricted income and they can't afford the rental amounts.
So what's out there? Are there still programs, or is there still money coming in from either the state or the feds at this point? What's out there?
Yeah, we have flush kind of federal resources available from the COVID relief bills that passed. We also have our homeless outreach team that's out meeting with folks in the woods, on the streets, in their cars, talking about what's available, how to secure housing, and try to do some really active problem solving.
So what is the message? We have a couple moments left. People who are watching, and so they're hearing these multiple layers of issues. Really, I think what's really, all of it's disheartening, but when you hear about people, you're saying 80 plus who are losing their housing, some of our citizens who are most vulnerable, losing that. What's the message you want to get out there to our viewers then tonight on the importance of being part of this effort to help out?
There is no single solution. Nobody has a magic wand. So being an agency that provides that full spectrum and can concentrate both on providing services, but also look at development and getting more housing online is critical. That's the only way, having a multifaceted approach, that we're going to be able to get out of this.
Lisa, it's really hard to hear, especially on this elderly component. I'm kind of learning here as we go along here tonight that's a tough thing to hear.
It is, and so we've allocated money this year specifically for that population to put them in hotels and to keep them safe and keep them warm, trying to get them through the winter, while we can get some more time under our belt to try to find some longer term solutions.
You need a long-term solution.
We need a long-term solution, but the long-term solution is building, right? We're going to talk about that. Right. There's no way out of this except for adding inventory and very specialized inventory in the right locations. So
Cassi, just people who may be watching this and they're saying, I'm in that situation, what's the best thing for them to do? Reach out either through the website or to call HACC? What's the best thing for them to do?
Reach out through our intake form on our website or give our front office a call. It's 508-771-5400.
All right. Well, we really need folks to ring those phones and go online, Elisa.
Yeah, absolutely. The money that we're raising this evening helps, with the hotel for people who are homeless, helps us with advocacy efforts and, our friends and our neighbors in the region. We also have a collection for blankets and sleeping bags and people who are living outside and who need the extra warmth this year. So we have on our website a list of those products as well that we're collecting.
Right. Cassi Danzl is the Senior Vice President of Programs and Client Services at Housing Assistance Corporation. Cassi, thanks for taking a few moments to join us here on the Telethon for Hope. By the way, do you like my tie?
It's fantastic.
She wants to borrow it.
Do you want to borrow it after?
French horns are in. That's all I'll say.
Come on. It doesn't get better than that, right?
No.
All right. Well, folks, please help us out. Ring those phone numbers. Go online. Make those donations. We need your help. You're hearing about the crisis we're facing here on the Cape this year. So please help us out, and we will continue here with our 18th annual Telethon for Hope.